the most terrifying thing you ever discovered? My grandmother expected every parent to enter permanent exile at a spiritual retirement community once their youngest child turned 18. I was already dreading my mother leaving forever. But then I found out the horrifying truth. My grandmother had been the undisputed ruler of our family for as long as anyone could remember. She controlled every aspect of our lives from her massive Victorian mansion where 3 generations lived under her rule. According to her, parents had to leave for an exclusive spiritual community once their youngest turned 18 to find enlightenment without earthly distractions. No visitors were allowed because it would disturb their journey to higher consciousness. We received beautiful letters from the exiled parents describing meditation gardens and peaceful lakes. Growing up, I watched aunts and uncles leave with packed suitcases and tearful but hopeful goodbyes, never to return. When I turned 17, Grandma began preparing my mother for her upcoming transition. She moved Mom into a special bedroom called the preparation suite and started teaching her meditation techniques for her new life. Mom seemed genuinely excited, talking about finally having time for herself after years of raising children. She'd show me the brochures Grandma gave her with photos of serene gardens and luxury cabins. "I'll miss you terribly," she'd say, "but imagine me painting by the lake every morning." Grandma had Mom practice packing only spiritual items, saying material possessions weren't allowed in paradise. The countdown to my 18th birthday felt like watching my mother pack for vacation while I was grieving, but something else didn't feel right. As my birthday approached, I started noticing disturbing patterns. Every letter from exiled relatives mentioned the same crystalline lake and meditation oak, using identical phrases. When I asked Grandma why we couldn't visit, she'd say the community's spiritual energy would be corrupted by outside influence. She showed us photos of the facilities, but I realized they were all stock images from the internet. The smoking gun was one day when I found Grandma in her study, writing a letter from my uncle who'd left 5 years ago. She was copying his handwriting from an old birthday card. When she saw me, she calmly explained that the elders were too busy meditating to write, so she helped them maintain family connections. "Your uncle dictates, I transcribe," she said, but I knew she was lying. I started searching her room when she was out, looking for any real information about this paradise. Hidden in her closet, I found stacks of endorsed social security checks and withdrawal slips from my relatives' accounts. There were property deeds transferred to her name and life insurance policies where she was the beneficiary. Whatever this spiritual community was, Grandma was profiting from it. My mother, meanwhile, was giving away her belongings and writing goodbye letters to friends, blissfully unaware she was preparing for her own imprisonment. She'd hum while sorting through photos, choosing which memories to leave me. "Only 2 months until my spiritual journey begins," she'd say with genuine joy that made me sick. And then she'd look at me and whisper, "God, but I don't want to leave you." And I knew I had to do something. 3 weeks before my birthday, I followed Grandma when she left for her monthly charity work. She drove 2 hours to an abandoned industrial district and pulled up to a crumbling warehouse. I watched from behind a dumpster as she unlocked a heavy chain on the door and disappeared inside with grocery bags. When she left an hour later, I crept closer and peered through a broken window. Inside, I saw them. Dozens of my relatives were living in makeshift cells made of chain link fencing. They wore the same clothes they'd left in, now ragged and stained. My uncle sat on a cot, staring at nothing, while my aunt paced her small cage like a trapped animal. The spiritual paradise was a concrete prison where Grandma kept them alive just enough to keep cashing their checks. I took recordings on my phone, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold it steady. I rushed home to show Mom the videos, but she wouldn't look. "Your grandmother warned me you might resist my leaving," she said sadly. "It's normal to create fantasies when facing separation." Desperate, I went to the police, but when they questioned Grandma, she was ready. She showed them forged letters from the relatives saying they'd joined a legitimate religious commune that valued privacy. She had power of attorney documents they'd supposedly signed. The detective told me adults had the right to join whatever community they wanted. With only a week until my birthday, I made one last attempt. I convinced Mom to come with me on a drive, saying I wanted one last mother-daughter day. But when I turned toward the warehouse district, Grandma called Mom's cell phone. "She's trying to sabotage your spiritual journey," Grandma said on speaker. "If you go with her, you'll never find enlightenment." Mom made me turn the car around. On my 18th birthday, I did the only thing left. As family gathered to see Mom off, I played the videos I'd taken on the living room TV. The room went silent as they saw their enlightened relatives sitting in cages. Mom collapsed when she spotted her sister picking through garbage for food. Grandma tried to grab the remote, screaming that I doomed everyone's spiritual journey, but my cousin called 911. Police found 17 relatives imprisoned in the warehouse. Grandma got life for kidnapping and fraud. Mom lives with me now, but still dreams about the lake that never existed.